Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead of them and their companies. I'm your host, Olivia Sammons, and in each episode, we'll uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, I'm very excited to be joined by Serena Franchini, a trauma-infused healing practitioner and the founder of the Healing Fawn Inner Child Work and Somatic Therapy, a holistic healing practice dedicated to helping people gently reconnect with themselves after trauma, overwhelm, or long periods of emotional disconnection. Through her work, Serena supports individuals who feel anxious, shut down, overstimulated, or stuck in survival mode, guiding them towards nervous system regulation, embodiment safety, and self-compassion. Her approach is soft, grounded, and deeply respectful of the body's wisdom, prioritizing healing over forcing change. Serena, welcome to Founders Future. Thank you so much for joining me here today. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
It's awesome. And I'm very much excited to dive in and learn more about your journey. So with all of my guests, I do actually like to start at the beginning. So if you don't mind briefly taking me back to what it was you was doing before you started up the Healing Fawn, and then from there, what was the motivation behind it?
Yeah. So I am a nurse by trade. So I've been a registered nurse for 18 years. And, I went to, I have a bachelor's degree and became a nurse and worked in various hospital settings. And I'm still a nurse. So I still practice as a nurse as well, even with the Healing Fawn. And the Healing Fawn really began based on my own personal journey and what I was experiencing in my life at a kind of a crossroads. And in my case, my healing, I was kind of cornered with my healing because I had kind of pushed it off unknowingly, unconsciously. So I didn't have a choice at that point, but like it's time to face kind of all of the stuff that you haven't been dealing with. And it was a personal journey. And that personal journey led me to being so curious about the deeper work that I was needing. And at that time, it was not very mainstream to do this type of work. It was, you had to kind of really dig to find it. And so I then decided to go back to school to learn the somatic therapy, to understand kind of the trauma that's held in our body, which I'll just say there that a lot of times people think that their trauma or the things they've been through, if you can talk about them, that's healing. And it's really, we can't logically heal through talking about it. It's stored in our body, and there's a whole physiological reasoning behind that, why we have to be able to get into the body. So I wanted to learn that. And so even through my whole somatic program, the business really became an idea after that. And I was like, wow, so many people, everybody really could benefit from this type of work. And that's kind of where the idea developed.
Amazing. So, and thank you so much for sharing that. So just going through your own struggles, your own trauma, and really trying to heal yourself, look within. And then obviously being a nurse, you obviously have that ambition to really help other people. So I love the fact that you're now putting it out there to help everyone else, because somatic healing, regulating the nervous system are all things that are so important. But as you say, kind of not really shown much of its or given its respect in the world. It's very much had this stigma about it, which isn't particularly cool. So I really love the fact that you're highlighting that and just really sharing it with the world as well, because it's such an important step. It really is.
And I will add, nowadays it is more mainstream. Like if you go on Instagram, you're going to see a lot of coaches doing this type of work in some variation. But back then it was not something that you could easily find and understand. We are very blessed nowadays that we can really find a lot of experienced people, whether it's their business or practice, or just people that have went through it and are sharing much more easily, so people don't feel as confused as I did back then, which really is a blessing.
Yeah, that's definitely actually thinking about it. It is that just shining a light on the unknown of it because it was seen as this very woo thing back in the day, and it's like why are we doing this? But it's not. It's within the body. It's just controlling your body's state of nerve the whole time. And as you say, it's very well and good talking about trauma, and yeah, you can admit you've gone through it, but actually dealing with it and looking it in the mirror, it's a very different process and a lot easier said than done. So it's just taking that step. So let's dive into the business a little bit more, Serena, so the listener can have some context moving forward. So when it comes to obviously the Healing Fawn, who would you say is your ideal customer? Like, who do you really, really love to work with the most? And then from there, how is it you help them and how would you support them along that journey?
Yeah. I think I have two idea customers where I call them clients, but
Yeah.
um, and I think the first one is people who have a history of having parental addiction as their childhood trauma. Parental addiction shows up very uniquely as adults,
Okay.
and you have kind of similar um, traits, but these traits you feel very alone with. And so people that have experienced parental addiction and they're realizing that as they're growing, as they're an adult, I really feel connected to those that are interested in, yeah, this wasn't good. Some of the stuff I
Yeah.
experienced isn't good. I need to work through this, and I see it showing up in my adult life. Two, the second ideal client, I would say, is people who are going through a very traumatic divorce or breakup. Um,
Mm.
I work with men and women, but obviously women are feel a little more comfortable doing this work, but it's not, this is just a woman focused business. I do welcome men with open arms as well. But the thing that happens with sudden divorce and breakup is it really triggers our inner child wounds. And so this ending of a relationship feels so big, it
Yeah.
feels tremendous, and it feels like the weight of the world is on us and we cannot see to the next day. And people don't understand, because we don't have the knowledge, that it's that breakup is triggering your inner child. And so all the stuff that you didn't deal with when you were little is coming out in this breakup. And these people are very vulnerable, and um, but it is almost like a light bulb goes off once they understand it, and to see that shift, and that shift ends up actually being such a huge benefit in their life, because then they actually start doing the inner work that they haven't
Yeah.
done, if that makes sense.
Fully makes sense. No, 100%. And the thing with divorce, it does come on quite spontaneously, I suppose is the wrong way to put it, but you don't expect it to happen. So it does shoot your nervous system up. It puts you in that fight or flight. So it's getting out of that. And as you say, kind of moving on from there and just realizing it's other things that are affecting it and not your current situation. So so how is it? So I'm interested to see then how you go about acquiring your clients. So in terms of like marketing, what methods or channels are you really find most effective in finding that right person to work with?
So I really work with my social media, but using it in a way where this work is so niche and it's so kind of vulnerable that it's not something that you push on people. They have to want it or be ready for it, or be at least be curious. And not
Yeah.
everybody is. And I talk about this often, that not everyone here in this lifetime is meant to do this inner work, right? You might not. And that's why we can't push this type of work on to everyone.
Mm.
You have to be called to it. So I share my experiences. I share education. I I share a lot of insight, and then I leave it up to people to come to me. Um, I share about how my program looks and things like that, and how you can work with me, but it's not salesy at all. Like, it's not.
Mm.
I'm not. My content is very much just bringing awareness to various aspects of my work. And then people come. It's very organic. And um and yeah, I don't really, as far as like how I think it's word of mouth too, kind of that old fashioned kind of spreading the word. A friend has saw
Yeah.
my social media and, you need to check her out. And it just really organically grew on its own.
Amazing. And that's a good sign that you're doing something well when people recommend you. Like the referrals are a great avenue to have.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
on top. And also, as you say, the type of work that you are doing with people, they have to be very ready for it. And on the other hand of that, have to be a good fit for yourself as well, right? Because it's such like personal work. You have to have a very close and almost like loving relationship with your coach when you're going through that because it is such a bonding experience as well.
100%. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So with that being said as well, how do you feel more about like the salesy pushing approach? Would you ever consider running in form of ads and really driving in more traffic towards yourself? Like where do you stand with that?
I've run ads in the past. If I'm like, if there's something I find to be really important that I'm talking
Gotcha.
about,
Yeah.
um, but I haven't seen much success with it. And again, um, I don't necessarily feel that that's important for my work. I think that I believe that people will come when it's time for them to come.
Yeah.
Um, so as far as ads go, not so much. I don't feel very strongly about that. Joining podcasts, I'm happy to do. I'm happy to speak in different arenas, um, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of it.
So just being top of mind, as you say, making sure that when that situation arises for people, that you're the one you're thinking of and taking it from there, being knowledgeable. The thing with ads, they just help with consistency. So sometimes when it's like waving in and out, it's just really nice to level it out on the business side of things. But then also, Serena, do you have a team there helping you out, or are you pretty much a solopreneur, kind of juggling all the hats and still running the full-time job as well?
Yes, yeah. So it's just me. I do have a business coach who really helped launch me because I, as a nurse, I didn't have any concept of all of the systems that have to be in place and all of that. So and she's still like a constant resource for me. But it's just
Amazing.
me. So the marketing, emails, payment systems. Yeah, it's a one man show over here at this.
Juggling the hats, putting out the fires, and kind of covering all bases. And it is a lot for an entrepreneur. So it's really nice that you had that kind of as you say, you had the coach at the start just to really kind of get you off and lay it all out for you because coming into something new, it's a lot, no? You have to learn and really pay attention, but also you want to be coaching people, you want to be doing what you're good at and sticking to that zone of brilliance. So really,
Right.
really important. And
Yeah.
then that kind of leads me nicely onto what your plans are for the future, Serena. So like in terms of like the next 6 to 12 months, what are your goals? Like, are you thinking of scaling the business? Like, what does that vision look like for you?
So when we say scaling in my work, like so I work one to one with people, but after they've worked with me one on one for so my main program is 3 months, and then after they've worked with me for that 3 months, I do recommend highly that they continue
Mm,
maintenance sessions where they are not losing that connection to their body. Um, because then you know if you don't have that consistency, which it's very hard to have on your own as an
yeah,
individual, to pause for an hour and be still and notice what's happening in your body, feeling through it, staying with certain emotions. It's hard for me even, so I have my own somatic person that I work with. So I do a group program that then after they've done their individual work, then they can join this group program where you're still getting your somatic exploration and you're still getting your grounding, your breath work, and I'm still guiding you as you would in a one-on-one session, but it's just not as specific because you
yeah.
have the tools already. So to me, that's scaling. You can correct me if I'm wrong, if there's other ways. And then I have thought about bringing on someone else that I could train to do my exact model.
I like it. No, and that is scaling because it is all about how many people can I help? What is the impact I can do? And when you are limited on calendar time, one-to-ones, they take up more than it would with a group. So it's that one-to-many, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I also love the aspect of a group because, as you say, with when it comes to this kind of work, you never know when a new situation will trigger that. You never know when there'll be an effect. So it could be after 3 months and then 6 months down the line. I'm in the
Mhm.
same position again. Who am I going to call? Serena, I need your help. So I love the fact that it's kind of still always a constant support because you don't know when you're going to be healed or what needs healing in the future either. So
Exactly.
really appreciate it. And I
Yeah.
suppose where are you finding the biggest challenge for yourself at the moment, Serena?
Um, hmm. So I would say the biggest challenge is trying to articulate in words this work,
Yeah.
um, for people that don't know or haven't experienced it. You know, when you're posting content, when you're sharing, it's not easy. I even today, someone might listen to this and go, okay, but like, what does that actually look like? What does that experience feel like? How does she guide you in your body, and how do these memories from childhood come up? It's hard to explain, especially when you're limited to a 30-second, 60-second, 90-second reel or carousel to explain that. So I think for people that are new and aren't in this world right now, I think that's a challenge, articulating
Yeah.
how this actually works and how you will see change if you were called to do this work. Does that make sense?
Fully, it's that, as we spoke in the start of the podcast. It is that just in light, putting that, shining that light on somatic healing, on regulating the nervous system because it's a scientific process. At the end of the day, it's not just made up and out of the woodwork. So it is just how do we articulate that to the people that aren't within the space already? I feel
Yeah.
it's looking from the outside in and then taking that glance.
Yeah.
And it is just, I think, a great approach to take for it would be just normalizing it for people in a sense of putting it in everyday work, how great it can be for your business, how amazing it will be for your family, and just realizing that it ties all that stuff together because without your cup being full, it's very hard to give to other people. So you have to look at yourself. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And it is an everyday thing because you don't
Yeah.
need to have, years of unresolved trauma. I mean, it can, what we consider trauma today, it really isn't what people may think. It's not these huge life altering circumstances. It really can be times in your life where something happened and there wasn't support
Yeah.
available to you. So you were kind of left with this confusion or left with pain, and it never got dealt with. So it got stuck. It
Mm.
it doesn't have to be this grandiose, event that happened. And that will still show up in our adult life.
Yeah, very true. Because trauma is trauma, and everyone experiences things in different ways. Everyone has their own view of the world, they're their own person. And even when you're going back to talking about parental addictions, a lot of that feeds down from them. If your parents were very much English, like mine, where they go just brush it off and get up, you'll be fine. You just learn to ignore trauma. So that's a different response to somebody that was maybe mollycoddled more as a child, where trauma is all they know, so they express it to the world. So it's just approaching life from your view and sometimes changing it for everyone else as well.
Yes, I totally agree. 100%.
Serena, I have one final question to ask you before we log out. So, if you could go back in time to a younger self and you could only leave yourself with one piece of advice moving forward, something you know now, but that you didn't know back then, what would you say to yourself?
I would tell her that she's not alone, and that she's safe, and that I'm with her, and she's going to be so surprised in the most amazing way when she sees how life changes for her as we grow up. Um, it's only going to get better. But I'd really just want to reassure her, um, that she's safe and I'm with her.
Beautiful. What a great way to end the podcast. Serena, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your incredible journey and insight with us. Where can our listeners reach out best to connect with you or work with you if they would like to do so?
Yes, so everything is the Healing Fawn. So Instagram and TikTok are the main platforms I use for content. And then all my links are connected there. My website is thehealingfawn.com. So it's all very simple. Whatever platform you're on, just type in the Healing Fawn and you'll find me. My DMs are always open, again, because this work is unique. If someone just wants to chat or has questions, I'm always available for that.
Beautiful, amazing stuff. And thank you again for joining us. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to go and connect with Serena. And do not forget to subscribe to Founders Future via wherever you listen to your favourite podcasts. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with one of our team and discover how we went from $0 to $30 million per year in less than 3 years. But until then, keep on climbing and we will see you on the next one.